talked, interestingly, you stuck with me. You said you actually felt you've always had equal opportunities, and you've always felt entitled to have a voice, which is amazing. And I guess my question really is, how do you build that confidence? And if you don't have that confidence, what advice would you give to someone who doesn't naturally have it?
Quite difficult for me to imagine, because in my brain, everybody has a valuable opinion. So for me, that idea of when we talk about inclusion and we talk about diversity and we talk about everybody matters, like that to me is how I've been brought up, and it's how I live my life. So for me, if I apply that, I actually say, well, that also means me. So for a bunch of people in this room who might go, they are really supportive and really promote other people and say that they believe that everybody has a voice and everybody matters. And then when it comes to themselves, then says, oh, but actually maybe I don't, or maybe I shouldn't, or maybe I'm not entitled to be there or be in that conversation. So you have to actually give yourself that advice and that opinion and feel that way. Now, that's easier said than done, because it's a mental barrier. It is all about how you perceive yourself and the situation, etc. And it's not to say that, I have confidence. I am a naturally confident person. And again, it's how I've been brought up. It's the entirety of all of my learnings and my development, and this is where I am. It doesn't mean that you can't recreate it or can't help and support people who are more lacking in that confidence. So I suppose that the first thing is that piece around truly believing that everybody's voice matters and believing that about yourself. The second thing is to really actually examine what is it that's driving you to not feel confident in this space. Is it that you actually, when you look around the table, you feel intimidated by other people? Is it that you don't feel confident about your subject matter expertise? Actually try and unpick a little bit about what the underlying drivers for it are, because then you can start addressing those. So we've talked quite a bit about already internal networking and stakeholder management and getting sponsors. Well, actually around that confidence piece, that can also help, because if you're entering into a room where you know the people, you are much more likely to feel confident than you are if you're entering into a room where you have no idea who everybody is and what they're thinking, or how they're going to respond to things. I think the other thing is, and I think this is getting easier just as society progresses, is that when you do see behaviours that put other people down, that they should be called out. And that you would expect people around your organisation and other leaders to do the same. So if somebody starts talking over somebody else, I'm really sorry, could you please let so-and-so finish, because, they were still talking, there's a point to be made, etc. So it's getting some allies, so it's getting people who can support you in that conversation. So if you need somebody in the first instance to handhold you in there so you've got a supportive, friendly face, try and make that work. You've also just got the practice. So quite often confidence is about the fear of the unknown, and when you don't do it frequently enough, or it's a bit, it's mysterious, you don't actually know what to expect. Well, in those instances, maybe it's going and shadowing somebody else and actually being in the room but without any expectations on you, so you can actually hear and understand. And for me, that's been one of probably the most helpful things, is that, sounds awful, but you go and sit in rooms with people who are supposed to be incredibly important senior leaders, and you listen to them, and a lot of the time they've got a lot of very sensible things to say. But sometimes you also sit and you think, I could definitely make a better decision than you. You are no more valuable in this room than I would be. And you actually have to sit there and seriously think about that. No leader is a perfect leader, and there are definitely, again, everybody is fallible and people will make mistakes at certain points in time. And I think there's that bit of go and practice things. So go and shadow something, go and be in a room, go and make an environment feel less scary for you. And then if you've got very specific things like public speaking or presenting, getting coaches and actually getting support, technical support, so that you feel like you are properly equipped to go and do it, perfectly okay. You don't need to be a natural at it.